And we are live. What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into the Eskimo Brothers Wrestling Podcast. Low on the charts, but number one in our hearts. I'm your host with the most, Aiden, and I am joined here tonight by my good friends Eli.
Yes, sir.
Mike.
Hi.
There he is. And Trippy Crumpet.
Hi.
Tonight we're going to be covering for you all of the great and not so great things that happened in this week of wrestling. Usually we're going to do these shows on Saturday, every single Saturday of every single week. But unfortunately, Eli and I were both sick, so we decided that it was best just to wait until tonight. I think Eli still is sick, but I'm feeling better. My voice is a little bit weak. I might not be doing a lot of yelling. But you know what? We're going to go for it because we didn't want to put a bigger delay on it. Before we really get into things here, make sure to check us out on Twitter at Eskimo Bros Cast. That is ESKIMO BROSCAST.
Hit it, Eli.
For those who don't know how to spell.
That's where you find all of your live stream links, as I just posted it 5 minutes ago, actually. Your live tweeting for some of the shows, fan polls, and much, much more. Well, you already logged on to Twitter. And you've already followed us, just go ahead and tweet us using the hashtag EBW Podcast if you'd like to have your tweets read on the show. And on that note, we're going to get things kicked off with your breaking news for the week. That's right, I got a new format, so we're going to start with breaking news. Obviously, the big headline story coming out of this week was the return of Vince McMahon's son. Shane McMahon, 7 years absent. Here comes the money. 7 years absence, he's back. And he's going to be fighting none other than The Undertaker at WrestleMania. So if you were wondering who Taker was going to fight, we talked about it a lot. It was a big topic of ours. We were talking Braun Strowman, or John Cena if he's healthy, Goldberg. You know, it's all over the place. It was all over the place. But I do not know a single person, or I did not read a single report or a single comment or anything that predicted the return of Shane McMahon, especially in this situation fighting Undertaker. And not only is he fighting Undertaker, but he is fighting him inside Hell in a Cell, which is a stipulation that I am definitely looking forward to because it's been a while since we've seen a Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania. And there's not a better guy to have in there for the match because, I mean, I don't know what kind of physical condition Shane McMahon's in, but this dude, he did not have to do any of this stuff in his career, but he decided to. He took some of the nastiest bumps ever.
So
and like in all of wrestling, some of those, yeah, it like the dive off the Titantron, that's insane stuff. So I don't know what I can expect from this match. I mean, could we see a spot where they fall off Hell in a Cell? I don't know about that.
Fall through Hell in a Cell.
Fall through, like Nick Foley it up. I don't know. It's going to be definitely interesting. The outcome is also very interesting. I don't know. Would you have? It seems like they're bringing Shane back to have a role going forward. So I think the only way to do that is to have Shane go over. I've heard things of maybe Sting coming out and helping him win. I don't know about that. I would not have Sting go out there with his injury and his age at this point. I don't know if I'd clear Sting.
I've heard it's far-fetched to see CM Punk coming out and helping him.
I've heard CM Punk. I have. John Cena teased that a little bit on Instagram. You know what? John Cena teases everything on Instagram nowadays. He just posts
Don't listen to the fuck. Don't listen.
Yeah. Don't listen. Do not log on to John Cena's Instagram because you will get your hopes up and they will be crushed. I heard John Cena. Speaking of the man, John Cena could potentially help Shane McMahon beat Taker, and that I feel like any of that would be setting up a future match, whether it's at maybe SummerSlam or WrestleMania next year. Because according to reports, Undertaker, he's very healthy right now, and he does potentially have a few more manias in him. So it's been a while since we've seen a long build for a match like that, you know, Cena Rock-esque. How there's like a year just like...
Set 1 year in advance, once in a lifetime, and then it happens the next year.
Yep, and then it happens twice. Twice in a lifetime. Yeah, so, I mean, does anybody have any comments on that? Eli, would you like to say anything about Shane return?
I marked out. I was jumping around, and I was just really happy to see him back. And I'm interested to see, because they could do a lot of things with it. They could, like, their summer run, their entire summer run after Mania, if Shane goes over, could be like a sort of brand split-esque where like Triple H and Shane are kind of.
Yeah, we're actually gonna talk about that later.
I would like to see something like that, and I don't even think Shane has to win the match to make that happen.
How would you propose they do that then?
Well, I don't know. I feel like he could just stick around. He could just kind of be like a thorn in the side of the Authority. I don't
There
see
could
why.
be some other match down the line
Yeah,
that has a
something
similar
else.
stipulation, but with like somebody representing Shane and somebody representing the Authority.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah.
And I think it's time that the Authority comes to an end because how long has it been? 2 years.
I feel like it really kicked off when Seth joined. When it really hit its peak.
Yeah, but how long?
It was when Triple H turned on Daniel Bryan, right?
Yeah, so that'd be what? What year was that? 2000.
That was SummerSlam 2013.
Yeah, so it would go on 3 years this SummerSlam. It's been 2.5 years. That's a long time of just 20-minute promos kicking off Raw every week.
It's rough.
And it's been kind of bad. I'm personally getting a little bit sick of it. I'm sure a lot of people are. So I think I feel like this is a good way to put an end to it if they ever are to do that.
Just the sound of a show run by Shane McMahon. I know obviously reports are saying that he's not going to have anything to do backstage politics, you know.
Yeah.
He's just going to be an on-screen TV character, but just the way he's come in and what he's already said, I feel like if they did have Shane play the character as the owner of Raw, the show would just be so much better. Like, I feel Vince would completely flip the script. He'd probably be starting with big matches. I feel like Vince knows that he could potentially do something great with it. But we're gonna, as I said, we're gonna get into the brand split idea at the end of the show because we end the show with a little segment talking about the dirt. Voice crack. Whoops, my bad. We talk about the dirt sheets and which ones we think might be real, might be fake. This week I only got one, and it was that because it's actually been a pretty quiet week on the news side of things.
Nothing too big.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising because usually going into WrestleMania. Usually going into like the WrestleMania season, there's a lot of rumors about matches and whatnot. We'll talk about some of the matches that are rumored. Ugh. Have you heard other people saying Big Show and Kevin Owens? Just please no at Mania. No.
Please don't let that happen.
I don't get that.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be Kevin Owens versus Michael Cole. They put Mauro Ranallo on the pre-show for Fastlane. They're like, damn, this guy's pretty good. So we're gonna not hurt Michael Cole's feelings, and we're gonna put him in a match because then Ronaldo can just commentate all of me. It only makes sense.
It would be a good sacrifice.
It would be a really good
Michael Cole for Mauro Ranallo to be on commentary. Mauro Ranallo, friend of the show. I sent him a tweet once saying, retweet this if you love the Eskimo Brothers Wrestling podcast, and he very well did, so he's a friend of the show. Let's go to the next point here. This one isn't really much to talk about. The Godfather to join WWE Hall of Fame.
That guy, you could probably, I think you could get him to show up at an indie show and dress as the Godfather and then Papa Shango for about $500.
You probably could. Do you agree with this induction?
One thing I think that they should be doing is lowering the amount of inductees.
That's what I'm about to say.
Per year, because I mean, it's not like the NFL where there's 53 players on each team, and then you have these many guys can get in, and then there's these guys that from past years that haven't got in yet, and there's just like a plethora of people. No, there's like on average like two wrestlers, not even like two wrestlers retiring a year. And they're not even like Hall of Fame worthy. At this point, R-Truth's going to be in the Hall of Fame. R-Truth can't be in the Hall of Fame.
That's what I was about to say. Think about it. A guy like the Godfather, like in 20 years, is Curtis Axel going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame? It's like I don't know why they choose to induct so many people. It should be a few headline guys like Sting, and that's it.
I can understand why they did it at first because I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's more like names you could throw in there all at once because there was like
Yeah,
so many
yeah.
iconic names over the years, but it's dwindling down.
But I mean,
Like,
it took them until last year to induct the Macho Man Randy Savage, and
like
that's ridiculous.
that's just that's an issue. Vince and him never really
I mean, they're
saw eye
inducting
to
like the
eye.
Bushwhackers and
Yeah,
freaking
Coco
The
Beware.
Godfather, Coco Beware, before one of your
Before Macho
greatest,
Man.
your most iconic wrestlers. Like, who do you think of when you think WWE? You think like Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage back in the day.
Yeah,
The first
Ultimate
ones got
Warrior,
around.
these guys.
Warrior, yeah, that's it. And it took them until last year. And I know you could say that the family wasn't behind it, or whatever. Apparently, Randy said that he wanted his entire family inducted into the Hall of Fame if he was. But they could have, if they really wanted to, have worked something out.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense. I mean, that is one of the biggest legends of all time. But that's not about the Hall of Fame. This is kind of a not really a big news piece, but I feel like it's going to lead into something a bigger conversation we could have. AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens announced for a Madison Square Garden event for the Intercontinental Championship.
Now, a question about this: is this one of those like network specials?
No,
No. Okay.
no.
So that doesn't. I don't feel like this isn't
That
really.
that's it's really just more fuel to the fact that I believe that this match is not going to happen at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I don't think it can if you're just going to give it away on a live event or live event. Like,
Yeah, just it doesn't make any sense at this point. Like, think about it. Like, they're already moving into this Y2 AJ thing. I'm not saying that they're going to be going for the tag team titles at WrestleMania. Maybe they split up a few weeks before and they do another rematch of Styles and Jericho. But there's no way that they just started this Y2 AJ thing and then they're going to do Styles versus Owens. What is Jericho? That's throwing Jericho under the bus. And I know
yeah.
Vince is smarter than that. Going into your biggest show of the year, you can't pull something like that. What do I think personally that Styles is gonna do? I don't know. I mean, they could fight the New Day. I don't know. They could do like some sort of multi-man tag team match. I would have them. Would you have them go over?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like it depends on what their long term plan is. Maybe if because it also depends on Jericho because Jericho's a guy that'll just come in and out of the company when he pleases, and that's because he can.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, if he's gonna stick around to like SummerSlam, which I don't think that he will, then I think they could like win the titles for about 2 months, and then New Day win them back, and then their feud like blows over into SummerSlam, or they finish a feud at SummerSlam or something.
Uh-huh.
But if Jericho's only staying to like Extreme Rules, which I'm pretty sure that's all he's booked for right now, then I feel like they might turn on each other sooner rather than later. And I think that even what would you think if like I know Balor teased the Bullet Club with the T-shirt.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. That's one of the points I was gonna talk about as well.
But what would you think if like the Bullet Club, like if AJ was the heel and the Bullet Club came in and beat up Jericho, and then that was the feud for WrestleMania?
That'd be a nice little dream for the indie marks, but I mean, if you go on Finn Balor's Twitter, he tweeted something about the new shirt, and he tagged NXT, WWE Shop, and then Anderson and Gallows. So what I'm thinking is, right now, this is the situation I put it in. I feel like there's a reason they're doing Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe again. And it's not that they're going to have another clean ending. I feel like this one's going to end a little bit dirty, and it's going to be the establishment of the Bullet Club. Heel or face, I'm not sure. What would you have the Bullet Club, heel or face?
I don't know. It just depends on who they come in against.
Well, it looks like it'd be Samoa Joe, but they could do a double turn potentially.
Yeah, I could see. I could definitely see them doing a double turn.
And you could have the Bullet Club, and well, I guess they're calling it the Bulletproof Balor Club. At least that's what the shirt says.
That makes me.
Um,
That makes me hurt.
A little bit, yeah, just a little bit.
I cringe at that.
I don't really like the Balor Club concept either. It just kind of sounds cheap.
I'm a proud owner of that T-shirt.
Well, I mean, yeah. whatever. It's whatever. But let's move into that point. Let's move straight on into it. Finn Balor teasing something for Monday. Looking at the pictures, I think that people are overlooking this situation. I honestly think he's just promoting a new T-shirt because he keeps on posting the pictures of the same T-shirt. He said Monday, but he also tagged WWE Shop. The shirt's not released yet.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that the shirt's going to be released on Monday.
That would be my guess also. And Finn Balor's another one of those trolls because he's literally like teased his debut ever since he won the title.
He really has. I feel like
So-
every single pay-per-view he just like teases something.
Yeah, so why would it be different now?
Exactly. John Cena also posted a teaser, but he's also the dude that teased CM Punk fighting Undertaker. So don't listen to him.
You can't
That's what he
trust
said.
those two. You can't trust those two.
You can. Yeah. I mean, I feel like what if like Cena and this is a really random thought. But what if like Cena and Balor they formed a tag team, and then you see them like they just have backstage segments every week, and they're like on their phones, like they're like talking to each other, like how are we gonna mess with the fans this week? That'd be great. They're just like patting each other on the back, like nice one, bro.
You already got him there.
Yeah. Oh, you did it now. All right, that's enough of that. We pretty much already covered that. Eli, what do you think's gonna happen?
I don't know, dude. I feel like because I kept telling myself, oh, I need a couple more weeks to. I was like, at Fastlane, I'll figure. I'll know what's gonna happen. And then Fastlane happened, and nothing happened. And then I was like, oh well, I'll clear some more questions, and it just kind of gave me more questions.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems like anything can happen with absolutely everything at this point.
I feel like we did say on our Fastlane review, we said that the Monday Night Raw after Fastlane would provide a lot of answers. It provided some, but I feel like the show tomorrow might be the one that really seals the deal.
Yeah, because I really don't think that they could like go into WrestleMania with or like I feel like they can't build a WrestleMania feuds with just like 4 weeks or less.
They can't. They really can't. I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I feel like they need to be a bigger deal. I feel like they can't just give me Ryback and Bray Wyatt on 3 weeks' notice.
That sucks.
Especially that match. That'd
Yeah,
be
'cause
the worst.
it already feels like a lackluster match in general. Just like even if you gave it like the best build, the match itself is not appealing to me on paper whatsoever. But anyways, let's move into our last point here. This one's kind of, I don't know if how serious it is, but I thought it was really worth mentioning because these are people on our show that we love to talk about. Kurt Angle claims in I think it was a Q&A, he claimed that he is interested in returning to the WWE to reboot Team Angle with none other than Chad Gable and Jason Jordan.
This would be the most amazing thing ever that's ever happened.
I'm telling you right now, if this happened, nothing else on the show would matter. I mean, let's just dream scenario right here. Sami Zayn is healthy now, Cesaro's healthy, Seth Rollins is back. All these guys are healthy again, and then you take this Team Angle thing with Gable, Jordan, and Kurt. Wrestling would be at its peak. I'm telling you that right now. It'd be so amazing. Oh, and then like, what if they had towards going into WrestleMania season, you could have like Gable turn heel, and then they could do Gable versus Angle at Mania. Oh, I'm getting excited just thinking about it. God, that'd be so amazing. I'm sure it's not gonna happen, but if WWE listens to Kurt and they want to sign him again, I would be there'd just be nothing greater than that. I have nothing else to say. There would be nothing greater than a Team Angle reboot with those three guys. Anyways, it's time for us.
Actually, do you think, like, I know that we see that there's some people that see Gable and JJ as these future stars that can win world titles one day, but do you think that they might follow down the same path as like Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, just be relegated to the mid card?
I see what you're saying, but I feel like they're different because this is what they started as, and they have like a different kind of character. Like they're more charismatic, especially Gable.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. I mean, Sean was pretty charismatic, and Charlie wasn't really. It was kind of I don't know. There was always one guy that was more charismatic than the other, but Sheldon definitely saw more success in his career than Charlie did.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see it going either way. I would love to see both of these guys in the main event picture within 3 years. But
I love it.
But then again, I just don't. There's a possibility of them just being mid carders, but I don't want that.
There definitely is. They could definitely be tossed there. It's really a matter if Vince is looking for a guy to be like the next Kurt Angle. Because if you want the next Kurt Angle, his name is Chad Gable. He's got the same charisma. He's got like the same sense of humor about him. The same amazing technical wrestling skill. They're both so amazing. You can't like. I don't want to hear anybody say, "Oh, it's like, oh, I don't want another Kurt Angle like the original." Kurt Angle is amazing. You have to understand how like amazing Kurt Angle in his prime in the WWE was. He's hilarious, like unintentionally hilarious. Just an amazing character, and he backed like it didn't matter how goofy he was, because he backed it up in the ring. He was an Olympic gold medalist. Gable is an Olympic wrestler too. It's just it's so perfect, and I feel like they would be dropping the ball. Like I mean, more than anybody. Like I feel like he, out of maybe anybody in NXT right now, could have like the most potential to be a world champion someday. And I'm not saying that because I love him so much. I'm saying because of his character and the way that we've seen how Vince likes characters like that in previous. Not huge guys, but just amazing amateur wrestlers. He's got that. I mean, I'd say like maybe Finn Balor might be more successful, Sami Zayn. But I don't know. I feel like he's gonna be more successful than the majority of the NXT roster right now. I'm a little backed up. That sickness is catching up to me. Let's move on now. We're gonna talk about the highlights of the week. We talked about the news. We're gonna get into the highlights from the shows. Eli, do you have highlights from Lucha Underground we can cover?
Here, you start talking a little bit, but there's one thing I do, and then I'm going to pull up the results. I don't remember exactly what happened.
All right. So obviously we've already talked about it. Shane McMahon, he's back. That's the obvious highlight from this Monday's Raw. He's gonna fight Taker at Mania. Man, the crowd reaction for Shane McMahon. I'm gonna talk about that because we have not addressed that. That was insane. I was not expecting that. I never knew. What was it? I think they were in Detroit this Monday. I never knew that there was such a good crowd. They lost it for Shane. He got like 3 chants right off the bat. Like, if this is awesome, welcome back, Shane O'Mac. Holy shit, all this stuff. It was an insane reaction. He even like when the show went off air, well, when it cut to commercial, he talked for like 30 seconds, said his nipples got hard and all that good stuff. It was an insane reaction. I don't know if I was expecting that for Shane McMahon. But, I mean, then again, who was expecting Shane McMahon? It was insane. So, they also announced another match for WrestleMania on Raw. Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar. So, I guess they did end up scrapping Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt, which leaves Bray Wyatt between a rock and a hard place. But I'm looking forward to this match. It has a stipulation on it, as well as the Shane Taker match. It's got no holds barred street fight, so that should be a fun match. The psychology going into it is probably going to be what plays into the match itself. I feel like it's probably going to be Brock destroying Dean most of the time. There's probably going to be a lot of mounted comebacks by Dean, all that good stuff. What I'm interested to see, and I don't want to sound smarky here, but they are doing more blood. We're going to talk about that in a minute here, with Roman Reigns and his fake blood. They are doing more blood.
Byron runs everything.
Byron just, whoop, here you go, buddy. Whoop. Do you think they could do some CZW-esque spots here? Some more on the extreme side that we haven't seen. Some Nowadays, like, there's not really much to look forward to in a no holds barred, because it's usually just like, oh, like steel steel chair, oh, kendo
In the
stick,
back with this
table.
chair. Hit me in the
Yeah,
stomach with this chair. Like, it's not really, or with the kendo stick, yeah, it's not really like, I don't know.
yeah,
I,
I see what you're saying.
especially with Dean's background.
What? Your microphone cut out.
I would like to see more experience with that kind of stuff too,
Yeah,
being from CZW. So I'm pretty sure it could be very entertaining if they let it happen in
yeah.
that way.
I don't expect them to like allow them to do like chair shots to the head because of all the concussion
Or
lawsuits and
and like
that.
yeah, like light bulbs over their heads and stuff. I don't expect they're fucking what they did at Lucha Underground. The fluorescent lights break. I don't mean anything like extreme like that. I feel like it's just gonna be somewhere in between.
Yeah, something interesting. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar or Dean Ambrose get a head to this screwdriver to the head. Oh my god, I'll never forget that. Have you seen that video?
What
Dean
are you talking about?
Ambrose got in CZW, it was a CZW match. I think it was like barbed wire ropes. I'm not really sure. They're such nuts. I don't know why they do that to themselves. Dean Ambrose was fighting some random guy, or I'm sorry, John Moxley, and the dude had a screwdriver, and he started screwing the thing into Ambrose's head. It was disgusting, like his forehead. It was and it pierced, I believe. It did pierce. Because there was a lot of blood. It was bad. It was really bad. It was not pretty. And I don't know how. Just I would not take it that far on a WWE show. You know, it's PG. But they're on pay-per-view. They're on the
Yeah.
network. They can do whatever they want. So if they want to push the envelope, that's the time to do it. Um, Speaking of all that blood, Roman Reigns, he bled. Not really though. I actually did not catch this until Eli, you brought it up to me. Apparently Byron Saxton slipped Roman Reigns a packet of, was it like a capsule of fake blood? I'm not
I
really
don't
sure.
know I believe it was a capsule, but there was a fan video from behind the announce table, and when Triple H beat Roman's head off the announce table, the guy was taking a video, and Byron was like up against the barricade, and then he walked up to the table and put his hand on the table, and then Roman put his hand right where Byron's hand was, and I'm pretty sure it was a capsule. So
Hmm.
yeah, because he immediately started to bleed after that.
Yeah. I just don't get like how you could bleed off of a straight announce table. Like there's no edges on it. You're just gonna get busted open that badly, and I didn't see a cut either. And it's quite interesting how they didn't show a cut. Apparently, they did it for a reason, though, as they're saying that Reigns had a pre-existing condition with his nose that he needed to get surgically fixed. So, I mean, props to them for that. That was a pretty interesting way to cover that, because, you know, they could just do Roman Reigns has a nose surgery, blah, 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 that's it. But I like the way they did it. It was very interesting how they made it into the storyline. It was a good incorporation.
Yeah.
The last talking point I want to discuss from Raw was AJ Styles and Chris Jericho. Now a team, Y2AJ. So rest in peace, all of your hopes and dreams for the people that thought we're gonna see AJ Styles and Kevin Owens go at it. That's probably not gonna happen anymore. Please, is there anything they could do right now besides putting him in like some like random unnecessary multi-man match or something along those lines? Why would they not do Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn at this point?
If they want an entertaining undercard, they have to do that.
They
Because
have
then
to
it's
at this
just
point.
two mid card titles without direction. Because Kalisto has nothing after the Del Rio feud ended, and Kevin Owens has nothing except for Sami Zayn.
Exactly. And I mean, if you're not going to do Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, that leaves you with 3 good matches and 4 probably very low quality. Well, I'm not going to say Charlotte versus either Sasha or a triple threat with Sasha and Becky. I'm not going to say that's going to be low quality, but I've yet to see a good Divas match on the main roster with these new NXT girls. I have yet to see it. I'm sorry.
I
Uh,
wouldn't. I wouldn't count it out though, because they can definitely deliver. All those girls can definitely deliver.
They can. They can. They
I mean,
can.
I
But
don't
they
see why
haven't.
they would. I don't see why they wouldn't deliver WrestleMania. I just, if the stage is that big, then I feel like they have to, or
They
women's
definitely should
wrestling
be
will
fair enough.
be. Well,
If they don't have a good match, it's gonna. Well, it's Vince. Who are we kidding? If they have a good match, it's gonna stay the same. If they have a bad match, it's gonna stay the same. Um,
that's true.
but yeah, this I just AJ Styles and Chris Jericho as a team. It's an interesting concept. I don't mind it. I mean, here I am. I'm like celebrating for the fact that this is gonna happen because I just not that I didn't want to see AJ Styles and Kevin Owens go at it for the IC title at Mania. Don't get me wrong. It's just you know me. I'm a big Sami Zayn mark. They should really do Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Just please. Like, it's the only way to make that belt and Kevin Owens relevant going into Mania. I mean, he's sitting here. I think this is an interesting point to bring up. On his SmackDown, he had a promo before the show, which is pretty funny. Kevin Owens is so good on the mic. He's one of the few heels left in the business that I can really get behind on the microphone. He's just so smart and quick-witted with his words. He said he was like going to
Even though
offer.
he stutter sometimes.
What?
Even though he may stutter sometimes.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. Um, well, I feel like he does that because like his promos are so natural.
Yeah, it's just
Like everybody
only
else has like their
stuff.
yeah. Here's Roman Reigns with like his written word for words. I feel like Kevin Owens is off the top of the head. Do you remember like shoot man Roman Reigns like this promo? I think it was TLC. When did Reigns won the 2015? So it was TLC 2014, a backstage segment. If you have not seen it, go watch it. It was after I want to say it was after Seth and Seth versus John Cena. Roman Reigns cut one of the most horrendous promos I've ever seen. Obviously written. He mixed his words up like 3 times, and it was like a 45-second promo. It was one of the most awkward things. It was like announcing like his entrance into the Royal Rumble. It's like, all right, great job, buddy. Basically, the summary of him winning the Rumble was that promo right there. But that's besides the point. We're talking about how good Kevin Owens is, not how bad Roman Reigns is. So yeah, he offered Ambrose a title shot on the episode of SmackDown, but Renee Young's like, well, he's out, he's hurt, he got beat up on Raw. He's like, oh, okay, I guess because I've beaten everybody else, I get the night off too. And then Big Show came in, and Kevin Owens made a pretty funny line. He's like, it was good. He's like, he like points down the hallway. He's like, hey, Big Show, this is the road to KO Mania, and I think you're looking for the road to retirement, which is over there. It was pretty funny. But yeah, I don't see why people are saying Kevin Owens versus Big Show is going to be a thing because Kevin Owens won. And the thing that I found interesting in this segment was Kevin Owens saying he's beaten everybody. And then only Ambrose deserves a title shot. Obviously, they're not going to do KO versus Ambrose at Mania. Ambrose already has a match. But that does imply that it wouldn't be somebody that's on the main roster right now. Because he said he's beaten everybody. Sorry, voice crack. He's beaten everybody. Have him come out on Raw. Have him say the exact same thing. I've beaten everybody. It's KO. Like, I've beaten everybody. Like, I don't know who to fight. Like, it's KO Mania, though, because I need an opponent. Blah, blah, blah. Boom. Sami Zayn. Have Sami Zayn say, you took away 7 months of my career. You took away my title. So I took away your Royal Rumble, your shot at the world title. And I want to take away your Intercontinental Championship. And Kevin Owens is like, well, they could either go 2 ways with this. They could have Kevin Owens automatically accept and be like, well, since I don't have another opponent, I guess so, you're on. Or Kevin Owens could say, no, you don't deserve it. And then over the next few weeks, they just have like Sami Zayn like pester him, just be pester. They just have him mess with Kevin Owens, a little bit. But I mean, I'm sitting here. I said this a very long time ago. I was saying this like around mid 2015 when Sami Zayn was out. This is the match that should happen at WrestleMania. It should have been from back then. It should be now because Kevin Owens has nothing to do. And are you really going to like relegate your Intercontinental Champion, who is Kevin Owens, who beat the guy who took the title from the guy who is facing Brock Lesnar? You're going to put him against the Big Show? That's ridiculous. Okay, what else we got here? Let's enough about that. Let's move on from Raw. We'll talk about TNA a little bit now. So this week was Lethal Lockdown, I believe. I think. I hope I'm right. And I actually decided. What?
Do you even have to cover this? Was it
entertaining this week? It's a really short. I just have like one little note. So yeah, I decided to watch some of it. And the only thing I really found entertaining on that show was Beer Money, Bobby Roode and James Storm versus Eric Young and none other than Bram, good friend of the show, Bram.
Bram.
They had a Lethal Lockdown match. It was good. I really enjoyed it. A good back and forth wrestling. And the rest of the show kind of they had a Rockstar Spud heel turn. The dude's like Big Show at this point, pretty much. Like, I don't know what they're like. It's just the company is such a mess right now in general. But they have a few saving graces, and those saving graces are named Beer Money, Eric Young, and Bram. You're welcome. That saving grace is definitely not DJ Zima Ion. That's for certain. So that's it for TNA. You know, TNA, figure something out. Figure something out for Bram. Just give the world title to Bram, will ya? He deserves it. And there's nothing else really to talk about. Let's move on to NXT now. NXT, I actually did not catch this episode, but I did make two notes. One, America Alpha was on the show, so that means it was great, right? Right, Eli? Can you confirm?
I did watch it. I can confirm it was a great match, and it also had Alexa's booty in it. So
you got Alexa Bliss, Chad Gable, and Jason Jordan all in the same match. Are you expecting nothing short? I mean, are you expecting like, what are you expecting? Like, it's got to be amazing. I was gonna say something smart, but then I realized I'm not that smart, so I had to step back a little bit and dumb it down for myself. So yeah, I mean, I don't like Banff. I don't like Blake and Murphy. I don't like Boomph. Okay, drop the egg because I love Alexa. I love Gable and Jordan. That's just a great. I mean, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna sit here and be so salty and say that Blake and Murphy aren't talented whatsoever. They're decent wrestlers. You have to give them.
And they just don't have charisma. Their entire character is Alexa.
Yeah, their character is Alexa. That's the problem. But they are crisp wrestlers. They're pretty crisp. And then you put them with Gable and Jordan, who are two of the best technical wrestlers in NXT right now, and you're gonna get a good match. That's just.
It was a good match. I watched it. It was a solid match.
Yeah, it's a simple equation. Gable and JJ plus decent tag team equals quality. That's a math equation that they should follow forever. The other note I made was that Tommaso Ciampa got another win, so it looks like they're gonna go in with this guy. He went over Bull Dempsey, rest in peace, Bull, who no longer works for the company now. He just took that L to Tommaso. He just couldn't handle it. He had a dip. So yeah, I mean, looks like they're going in with him. Johnny Gargano still is not winning, so I say it's Tommaso. Yeah. Hopefully he signs soon. Would you say that Tommaso is signed now? He's got an NXT contract.
I don't know that for a fact. I would hope that he does. I would hope that he has, like, if there's such a thing as a pre-developmental type deal.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like on the road to signing, then I would love that because they wouldn't just give him wins. They wouldn't just give a guy wins that's not on the roster. So I think that he's getting there, if he's not already there.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Maybe they just have like a verbal agreement right now.
Yeah, that could be it.
Like win your contract, whatever contract. I don't really know about Tommaso Ciampa, to be honest. I know he's a classy gentleman who is very polite. That's all I know about him. But I don't know his contract situation. I don't really know what's going on with him. But he is getting wins, so I'm sure there's some sort of like at least a verbal agreement that maybe when his contract ends with whatever, he'll sign with NXT. And hopefully he doesn't Kenny King them and just dip after a verbal agreement is made. I love listening to who was it? I'm drawing a blank right now. But apparently Kenny King is not a man of his word.
I can't see guys like him and Gargano and Swan evolve throughout NXT because I think those three guys can do big things. And
yeah, definitely.
hopefully that's rather than later.
I sure hope so. Because NXT is about to weaken up in a little bit. You're losing Sammy soon. No matter if you have him WrestleMania or after, he's coming up soon.
Yeah.
You're probably going to lose Balor soon. So you're going to get a thinning roster. I mean, eventually you'll get Joe might be gone. Corbin might be gone. So you might get a little bit of a thinned roster for a bit. Tommy will be back soon. You might get the Bullet Club. Actually, I don't know. I feel like Balor might be around for maybe almost until like next year's Mania.
I think it really depends on what they want to do. I hope that's what happens because Balor's not ready yet. There's a lot of people who want to see him come up and want to see him do like things right now, but you can't rush things with a guy like Balor. Because he obviously has a lot of potential, but he's still really green on the mic, and you can't paint on a gimmick. Literally. Yeah, exactly. You can't have a career of just painting on your gimmick, and then that's all you got. You can't.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that like it sounds like he's got a gimmick. He calls himself the Demon and all of that good stuff, but he never talks about it in his promos.
Yeah, he's
his
just
promos are so green. He has not had an interesting storyline yet to me, and that's a problem. Because I mean, the last interesting storyline to me in NXT was probably KO and Sammy, and I did not like either of those matches. I'll be the first one to tell you. I thought that the ring psychology led to two very boring matches. I know what story they were trying to tell about how dominant Kevin Owens could be. But I thought the matches were very boring and overhyped. I know it'll be different. It'll be a different case at WrestleMania because they're not there to tell a story that NXT is. They're there to prove that they're amazing wrestlers. And go back and watch their Ring of Honor matches. They've already proven that they can kill it. What was I talking about? I don't even remember. Should we just move on?
Sure.
I only have one note from SmackDown, actually. My solo note from SmackDown is that Kevin Owens looks like an ant compared to the Big Show. Oh my goodness. I had no idea. I don't know if Kevin Owens is just smaller than I thought or Big Show is bigger than I thought. But Kevin Owens looked so small compared to the Big Show. It was crazy to me. I was sitting there like watching their backstage segment, like, whoa. But then when they got into the ring, I was tripping out because I did not know there was such a size difference between those two. Like, I feel like when Big Show is fighting these other guys, like, I mean, how much bigger is Luke Harper? Like, here, let me go look up how tall Kevin Owens is. Kevin Owens' height.
I feel like he's like 6'3", 6'2" or 6'3".
He is 6 foot on the dot.
Oh, really? Shit.
So he's actually pretty short compared to the other guys. I mean,
because Luke's what, 6'5"?
Let me go confirm that for you. Luke Harper height. Luke Harper, yeah, he's 6'5". So he is shorter than most guys, because I know Seth is 6'1", Sami Zayn is 6'1".
Cena's 6 flat.
Cena is 6 flat?
Yeah, he's 6 flat.
Oh, so
Ambrose is one of the taller, as you were about to say. And
yeah, he's 6'4". One of the guys on the so I'm just looking at all the heights right now. Finn Balor is only 5'11". I did not know that. Neville is 5'10". Yeah, I knew he was smaller. Rusev is only 6 foot. All right, so
I think
yeah.
just the heights alone show the transition in how wrestling is becoming nowadays. How it's not, I mean, I know the heights aren't everything, but they're like smaller guys. They're not just like big hulking.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I mean, who's the tallest person besides the Big Show? How tall is Braun?
He's probably like 6'9".
Braun Strowman height. Braun is 6'8". That's not that tall.
No, that's like as tall as Bad News Barrett and Sheamus.
Wait, really?
Yeah, Sheamus is like 6'7", and Barrett's actually 6'9".
Oh, hold on a second. Sheamus is 6'4".
Is he?
Yeah.
Is
Wade
he really? I
Barrett.
thought he was taller.
All right, Wade Barrett is 6'7".
Yeah.
Wade Barrett's a taller guy. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty impressive. That was off topic though.
Yeah, that was really off topic.
Well, not really. Actually, the point with Kevin Owens is very small. So not really.
Why is that even a note? Why is that even like?
Because I was just in awe of how small Kevin Owens looked compared to the Big Show. I was just there's nothing else from SmackDown that was notable. So I was like, what is the most? What shocked me the most in the show? What was the most surprising thing? And it was definitely Kevin Owens. And hey, I'm gonna say something that might be an unpopular opinion. I thought Kevin Owens made the Big Show look great. I thought Big Show like you wouldn't think a guy like Kevin Owens could do that, but I did not hate the match. I kind of enjoyed it, not gonna lie.
And that right there attests to Kevin Owens' ability, and it's not fat, it's talent.
It is talent. Well, I
It's a
could
little bit
argue
fat.
that. I could argue that.
I don't think that we have to, because we've argued this before.
We have on the last show a
Yeah,
lot,
actually.
a lot. So now we're gonna talk about the highlights, but
Oh, I gotta get Lucha Underground.
this. Oh yeah, my bad. Talk about Lucha Underground.
A lot of indie fans would like to hear that Jack Evans and PJ Black both fought each other. And it was a decent match, nothing really special. But yeah, good technical match. And most of the stuff they're setting up, or most of the big stuff came for announcements for next week. It's going to be Pentagon versus Puma again. And also King Cuerno versus Lance Championship. So those should be really, really entertaining matches next week. So we'll update you then.
Yeah, look forward to that. So we covered the highlights of this week. We got the highlights down. But, this is wrestling, and especially with you got TNA in here, you got WWE, there's gonna be some lowlights as well. And we're gonna start off with Raw. Actually, hold on. All 3 of my lowlights that I have written down are all from WWE this week. Because TNA was kind of like, not even like bad. It was just.
Well, it didn't even happen.
Yeah, just like what's TNA at this point? I'm gonna start with Roman Reigns versus Sheamus main eventing Monday Night Raw. Foolish. This is just foolish. I mean, you start the show with a huge moment. It's probably gonna go down as one of the biggest moments in wrestling history. Let's not kid ourselves here. Shane McMahon returns. Big reaction. Huge moment. And then you go ahead and close the show with a match. I mean, how many times have we seen this match main event a show in 2016, let alone of all time, just in this year? It's ridiculous how many times they've done this match, and why did they not have the Excellence Award close the show?
Doesn't it seem like that's kind of been a pattern lately?
What?
Like, they'll kick off the show with something. Well, let's set aside the Daniel Bryan retirement, and let's look at like the first couple hours were entertaining, at the most, and then the last hour just kind of it dies.
Well, it definitely shows in the viewership. I don't know if you've been looking at it. I sure have. I believe it was either this week or last week. They the first hour they started with like a plus 4 million, and they dropped 800,000 6,000 viewers by the last hour.
Yeah, see, that's ridiculous. Like, you have to keep
That is almost a quarter of your viewers.
You need to go back to 2, WWE. You need to go back
Either
to 2.
go back to 2 or not. They don't even have to do that. I mean, I'm not trying to. I know that I'm not trying to be sit in this chair and I'm trying to book your show for you. I know it's hard. You got to book SmackDown. You got to book Main Event. You got to book all this stuff. I understand. But I feel like either they're just clowns right now on the creative team with Vince, and he just agrees with all of them, or just I don't know. I feel like again, as I just said, I'm not trying to sound like, oh, I'm better than Vince McMahon. I'm a better booker than him, because I know a lot of people who do that, and their match ideas are just stuff that from a business perspective is not going to work. Because the one thing that we cannot forget is that this company is not all people like us. They're little kids. They're adults. There are different groups of people you have to please, and you're not going to please them all the time. But right now, he's pleasing he's pleasing to entertain. I'm sorry, I'm just really messing up right now. He's failing to please anybody right now with the social outcasts versus like New Day, that kind of garbage. Like, I don't know if anybody finds that entertaining. I don't know anybody. I haven't seen any comments saying, "Oh yeah, what a great match." I don't see that. So I feel like I know you gotta appeal to all these different groups, but there's a way you can do that and make it entertaining. I might not like Roman Reigns, but I can appreciate him sometimes. I really liked Roman Reigns in January when he won the title. I thought he was doing great, but now we're back to square -100.
Exactly. Like, I was fully behind the guy. Like, whenever they booked him to lose at TLC, and then beat the hell out of Triple H, and then win it the next night, I was like, that's gold. You're gonna get the fans behind him, and if they keep this edginess behind Roman Reigns, that he'll be a good character, and they lost the steam immediately within a couple weeks.
I know it was bad. And I'm not saying, like, I don't want to hear anybody say, "Oh, you guys are just like the people that get mad because they try to like push somebody and you don't want them to be pushed because they're not your favorite."
No,
I was perfectly fine when they gave him the title on Monday Night Raw.
because they did it right. They made the right decision.
Did it right. They were booking him right. They were having him cut the right promos. They were having him say the right things. They were having him be more of a badass. They were having him be a loose cannon. They were having him like be what I wanted him to be. But he slipped right back into his corniness, his dumb win everything, like just get shoved down our throats. It kind of felt natural in January, but now he's just being shoved down our throats again.
It's like, first and foremost, wrestling is wrestling. And ability in the ring comes first, and character is a close second. And Roman Reigns isn't the best in the ring, and he's not the worst in the ring. But he's somewhere in the middle, and a guy like that needs a good character for me to get behind.
But he doesn't have it.
But for those like 3 weeks, I was behind him because he could entertain me in the ring as long as he had like a decent guy to go up against, and he cut good promos, and he had that decent that good character to go with it. But now he has it's like a mediocre wrestler with a cheesy character, and it's dumb. And he's gonna be the WrestleMania or the main event of WrestleMania. Excuse me.
Yep. There's no edge to it anymore.
No, honestly, in this feud, Triple H is gonna be the face because that's who the fans are gonna be cheering for the whole time, except for the kids and the girls that think he's hot.
I'm gonna talk about that baby face role for Triple H in a second. I actually, you brought it up. I'm gonna talk about 2 dirt sheet reports because I don't have the other one written down, but I do remember seeing it a lot, and I just laughed because it sounded so ridiculous to me. So, what are the other bad things on Raw? Oh yeah, Charlotte's existence right now. It's really rough on me. I'm just not really happy with it. Her voice just, oh, she's like a bad Stephanie. Like, you know what? No, let's not even talk about that. I just want to clear that out. Charlotte, no. On the microphone, just no.
Just
And
cut it out.
my next shoot, oh my gosh. I combined two words. I combined a word from the next note, and I combined the word note itself. R-Truth and Goldust, no.
Getting old.
Getting old.
Get to the
Please just,
point.
yeah, get to the point. Establish what you're doing with this, because I don't like. Why would you have R-Truth turn down the Golden Truth idea so many times just to do it? It's
Yeah, it's
like
it's like I can understand if R-Truth was like on like a. It would make a little bit more sense if R-Truth was winning, and he was decently successful on his own. But you guys are doing nothing right now. Like he has no reason to. From a character standpoint, he has no reason to turn this offer down. So why elongate this thing right now?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing else to say about it. It's just, it's really is a waste of time. It's a waste of television. They could be putting some good jobbers on there, like
2
Curtis
hours
Axel.
or 2 hours, or make the 3 hours entertaining somehow. Figure it out.
Exactly.
Figure it out.
And I'm not saying that the R-Truth and Goldust can't be. I'm not saying that this angle cannot be entertaining.
I thought it
But
was hilarious at first whenever Goldust was sitting barefoot on the toilet.
yeah,
When he
it had a good start the first few weeks, and then it just kind of dropped. And now it's just a waste of time. It feels like they're just doing it to fill time. So now that's it. That's all the bad things I have to say about wrestling for the week. We're gonna get into the dirt sheets for the week. I've only got 2 stories this week. I'm sure I'll have more. I'm gonna try my best to find the greatest dirt sheet reports of all time. You already know, if you've seen our previous shows, you already know how I feel about the dirt sheets. I feel like they are majority just a bunch of lies, and they back up by saying, well, it's subject to change. It's always changing, all right? When's like I don't remember like the last time I seen like a dirt sheet report that was like unexpected, and then the thing actually happened. So here's the first one. It's more or less. I'm not really like sure the truth behind this one. We'll talk about it in a second here. Let me read it. This comes from WrestleZone.com. Ever since Shane McMahon returned to WWE on Raw last week, there has been speculation that his return might be leading to the return of the brand split in WWE, seeing as how Shane is vying for control of the Raw brand. Speculation on the brand split was furthered when an ad for an upcoming WWE live event was listed as WWE versus Raw, but that ad was quickly changed back to WWE Raw. According to PWInsider.com, there has indeed been talk within WWE of having the brand split return to the company, but with the way the business is today, a brand split might be very difficult for the company to pull off. As of now, if the brand split does happen, it does not appear that NXT would be involved. Why would NXT be involved in the first place?
Yeah, it's developmental.
I just don't know why people are so hyper and so like anxious to see everybody from NXT get on the main roster. They need development. They're in NXT for a reason.
Development, yeah. A guy like AJ Styles doesn't need developmental because he's a seasoned veteran of pro wrestling. He doesn't need it. I mean, he's obviously, I think he's slightly overrated, but he was ready for the main roster.
Yeah.
And they stuck a guy like Finn Balor down there because he needs character.
He
And
needs character. They stuck a guy like Shinsuke Nakamura on there because he needs to adjust to the American style.
Yeah, he's not. He can't do that. Like he can't do that strong style anymore. He has to adjust his game. He has to adjust his craft.
I'm sure there's gonna be like little bits of strong style.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's what he's known for. You can't just throw that completely out the window.
Yeah, that's why you signed him. You signed him because he is the king of the strong style. I mean, I could argue that there's some people like I just seriously I don't want to say something like this because I feel like people are gonna be like, oh, you're just a Sami Zayn mark. That's kind of true. I am, but I feel like Sami Zayn has been ready since his feud with Neville.
Honestly, the WWE thought he was ready because they were going to move him up. If they were going to do what they did with Kevin Owens with Sami Zayn, had he not got hurt, he was probably moving up over the summer, and not Kevin Owens.
Yep. To be honest, I'm kind of glad that he didn't at this point.
Well,
I
you
don't
can't.
know.
I don't think that you could like pick. Like it would just be like, oh, well, this could have happened. Like Sami Zayn could be a really successful guy at this point had he not got injured.
Hmm. I mean, I think it would be like, I just feel like having your first pay-per-view match, apart from the Rumble, being at WrestleMania, that'd be big. Especially if you're winning the title and it's against Kevin Owens, your biggest rival. I mean, I want to talk about that for a second. Just because I feel like there are so many people who are saying otherwise, but I don't see how this match could not happen. So I went back and I watched the Royal Rumble. I went back and I watched Sami Zayn's entrance into the Rumble, and I listened very closely to what Michael Cole said because I feel like that is the biggest indicator as to where they might be going with this in the future. Is how hard they plug it and how hard they could just like say like, oh, you know, like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they don't like each other, you know. They like fought in NXT, but Michael Cole, like his influx, the influx of his voice changed. He was like to go like, oh, like they're like best friends, but they turned to bitter rivals. Oh, this might be like sweet revenge for Sami Zayn. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Would they have done it that hard? Like, would they have gone like that, like much into detail about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn if they weren't trying to establish that feud on the main roster? I can't stand listening to people when they reason for doing AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens, saying that they planted seeds in the Royal Rumble. How? How do they plant seeds? Kevin Owens eliminated AJ Styles? Sure, there's a reason they did that. Because if AJ Styles was eliminated by anybody else, everybody would have gotten mad. You know, if it was Roman Reigns who eliminated AJ Styles per se, people would have gotten mad. They would have booed Roman. But if they were gonna boo anybody, it might as well be Kevin Owens because he's probably the best heel in the company right now. But the fans, they respected Owens too. They didn't boo. They just cheered for AJ. There's a reason they had Kevin Owens eliminate him, and the reason is not because they're gonna be having a match at WrestleMania. I can tell you that. They might. Like, I'm not gonna say that's impossible, but I'd say that it is not. It's not looking like it whatsoever. That's what I'm gonna say. And as for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the Royal Rumble, oh, I forgot to mention, the commentary team did not even bother with mentioning that Kevin Owens, like saying anything about Kevin Owens eliminating AJ Styles. They're just talking about AJ Styles being eliminated, not by Kevin Owens. They're just talking about his elimination, how well he did.
Yeah,
he lasted so long
for
his first match.
20+ minutes.
Exactly. But when Sami Zayn eliminated Kevin Owens, they're like, "Oh, how sweet that must have felt for Sami. He finally got some vengeance on Kevin Owens. You know, best friends turn to bitter enemies. Blah 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 blah, all that." It was perfect. It was a perfect situation. They started the thing. Sami Zayn was coming out. Kevin Owens was in the ring, standing there. He looked furious at seeing Sami. They fought. Kevin Owens, he said, "Go back to NXT." Guess what? He went back to NXT, but I'm telling you right now, that is a feud that will make the most sense going into WrestleMania. And it should kick off tomorrow, hopefully. If my heart is correct, my heart and my soul and my gut instinct, I say that they at least start the build to maybe teasing the match, or they have Sami Zayn come out. Because I just don't see what else they could do with Kevin Owens to make him relevant. I do not want to see Kevin Owens in a multi-man match. I don't want that. I don't want like Dolph versus that does not need to happen. There's an easy feud right here for you It's called Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. It's written for you. All you have to do is have Sami Zayn come out, and it doesn't matter if the crowd, the fans in the crowd are into it. I'm sure there will be. Where's Raw? Here, let me go look at it. Hold on, let's take a second. It doesn't matter if like the fans and the arena are really behind it. I'm sure there, as I said, there's probably going to be some people who are. Some people are like, what's going on? It's in Nashville, Tennessee. Is Nashville a good crowd?
I feel like they're decent. I don't know if there's anything special about them.
But it doesn't really matter because next week's in Chicago, and then it goes into like what? Philly?
Philly, then Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
And those are all good crowds.
Yeah, you have a lot of good crowds coming up, and I mean, I didn't actually think about this until right now, to be honest. It's a perfect time because he's gonna get good reactions in and out every single week. I'm sure, because especially if it's his debut and he's coming out to attack Kevin Owens in Nashville, I'm sure that he'll get a reaction because he's just coming out and it's his first time and he's like establishing a feud. And then from there out, they go right to Chicago. And they love their independent wrestling and they love their NXT. They're going to love Sami Zayn. And then Philadelphia, they're going to love Sami Zayn. Pittsburgh, they're going to love Sami Zayn if he comes out. It's right there for you. It's perfectly plotted out. All you have to do is put them together. If you put him with anybody, if you put Kevin with anybody else, you have to somehow build a story that's worthy of WrestleMania, which I highly doubt you can.
In 4 weeks or less.
And yeah, exactly. And that's all I got to say about that. What?
Did we talk about the brand split really? We didn't really talk about the brand split.
We did earlier. I don't really know what else I'd say about it. Do you have anything to say?
There was just one thing, like when they did it back in the 2000s, I feel as if there was a lot more depth to the roster. Not to say that there's not now, but those characters and those wrestlers are more established. And I feel like they would need to build more people and then split if they were ever going to split again. Because right now there's only a select few people that I could consider top guys, and they're barely top guys, some of them.
Well, I have an interesting proposal for you. So let's say Shane takes over Raw, and then Vince takes all like the big stars over with him to SmackDown, or something along those lines. Actually, I'm not sure if they do that because I don't. And then I'm saying whatever brand, it doesn't really matter. You can have whatever owner pull up a big group of guys from NXT. I wouldn't have it be like big guys like Finn. I'd say like, let's say if Sammy's already on the roster. So like when this is happening, Sammy's already up. He can bring up, let's say Shane brings up Samoa Joe, Baron Corbin, Enzo and Cass, Blake and Murphy. I don't know.
See, I wouldn't mind that, but I'm just saying. I mean, they're established characters, but they're not like as established. Like if you look at those guys, if you look at like 2006. Just as an example.
Yeah, I know. I see what you're saying.
Like, there's I don't know. There's like Shawn Michaels, there's Triple H, there's John Cena, there's Taker, there's Edge, there's Mysterio. There's just all these guys that I could consider. There's depth behind those guys that could potentially be what they are. And then right now it's just like Roman, Dean, Brock. Kevin Owens.
Seth when he's back. Cena when he's back.
Yeah, it's like 6 guys total. They had at least like 6 to 7 guys on each show that could pull off main event quality feuds and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Should we cover the second little dirty sheet rumor? So there was a report. I do not have the exact wording of it, so I hope I'm not saying this wrong, but apparently they're reporting that Triple H was upset by Shane McMahon's return because he does not want to be casted off and replaced by Shane as a on-screen authoritative role. I'm telling you right now, that is not true.
I don't feel like
And he says,
I feel like they want to let Shane come back if Triple H wasn't happy about it.
I know. And then here's the real kicker. They said that the reason they can tell he's mad is because he tried to get a babyface reaction on
Oh my
Raw.
god. No, he didn't.
And
No, he didn't.
yeah, I know. But hold on. And then he was trying to get a babyface reaction, and that because he's trying to have more fans than Shane.
That doesn't even make sense.
It really does not.
Triple H came out there to get the intention was to get heel heat on a babyface for kicking the shit out of him.
Exactly. It's not like he's attacking another heel. He's attacking Roman, the top face in the company right now.
Quote unquote top face of the company. But
Vince is top face.
Yeah. But yeah. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Triple H is a heel. He's gonna be a heel for a decent amount of time. No matter what even if like the fans cheer for the bad guy, he's a heel. He's a bad character. He's a bad guy. He's a bad guy character. Mm-hmm. And there's no way, shape, or form that he's like coming out there and gonna be. He's like, oh, I'm the good guy now because I want more fans than Shane. And they wouldn't let him come in the first place because Triple H is the group of Triple H to be the next.
He's the head of creative.
Yes, he's the head of creative, for God's sakes. Like, you can't just like push him out with Shane just because his last name's McMahon. I mean, they could, but they're not. They're not dumb enough to do that.
Triple H was obviously. I just did not understand that. I started laughing and I was like, come on, come on,
come on, man.
Come on. All right, well, that's all I gotta say for tonight. Eli, do you have any closing comments? Does anybody have any closing comments?
Well, not really. It was a little bit boring this week, aside from the Shane O'Mac return, but I'm sure things will heat up.
Yep, tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's show. I hope we find out what lies on the road to KO Mania, all that good stuff, all that goody. And, you know what? Let's just close it up. As I said, make sure to follow us on Twitter. At Eskimo Bros Cast, that is EskimoBrosCast.
Hit it, Eli, for those who don't know how to spell.
And have yourself an amazing night. A night that is just as amazing as Shane McMahon's return was. Peace out, everybody.